Listen, I watched the fight back. You were all going in on me, but I pretty much deserved it. You called it like you saw it, so I have to step up my game.
Yes, as he said, more jabs, more punches and bunches, and he wants to pay attention to the body of Stubbs tonight. You know, I'm curious to see what he's been working on, but I love the fact that he just came right back. You know, a lot of these fighters nowadays don't like to fight back-to-back. So I can appreciate a guy like Isiah Jones.
Lead right hand.
I'm not sure we went in on Isiah Jones. I think we called it like we saw it. He talked a good game before the fight. He didn't perform, and that's fine. That happens sometimes. But I'm looking for a better showing from him tonight.
Stubbs is 3 years into his boxing career, but he has also been a pro in MMA. He has a 2-4 record in MMA.
Stubbs seems to have some heavy hands.
That's
not a lot is landed, but what's landed on the gloves, you can hear it.
And that's what he told us. He said, you know what, I can pretty much adapt to anything in the ring. You know, I don't have a whole lot of experience, but you know, one thing that I do have is punching power.
Jones able to connect with a left hook. Utilizing his jab to gain an advantage.
Right now what Stubbs, what he's trying to do is he's trying to counterpunch right now. He's trying to get Jones to commit, and he's trying to make him pay. You know, the right hand is what Stubbs is looking for.
Stubbs very well traveled, having been in the Navy, was in San Diego, Japan, South Korea. He's got a good attitude at this stage of his career, saying that he's late to the game, but he really believes that he's developing his skills, and he does that by simply listening to his coach. You got to be coachable in this sport. He comes forward now toward, he was the busier man in that first round.
Jones told us that he's going to be the busier man tonight. He said, I'm going to be using my jab and using my combinations. You know, there's something that I lacked in the last fight. He said, I wasn't really conditioned in my last fight. I took the fight on short notice, but he says, I'm ready for this one. I went back to the drawing board, got back in the gym, and strengthened my conditioning.
Both hands, both hands.
It was 2 weeks ago that he had that fight here at the MGM Grand.
I mean, that was one thing in the fighter meeting that threw me for a loop. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not sure how much, you know, how much better shape he can get in, and how sharper he can get in 2 weeks.
Hey, I need you working now, Isiah. Body head,
break
body
clean.
head, right the right hand, body head. Come back with your stick. Down two, up and down with it.
The thing with Stubbs is he just really, you know, inconsistent with his offense. You know, you see him land a shot, then he step back, and then he admires his work. If he gets his hand working a little bit more, he can, you know, create some things with his offense.
Another stick. Don't let him breathe. Keep it in his face. Another stick, Isiah.
Stubbs has got good hands, but he's got the same problem that most fighters have when they come from a different discipline like kickboxing or MMA. Their feet just look a little awkward. Their feet are not trained. You can see Isiah Jones, who's a pure boxer, his feet are just a little bit more educated than Donte Stubbs right now.
You know, Trey, good point, because, you know, when we asked him about the transition from boxing to MMA, he said the mindset and stand and control is different. Boxing is a thinking man sport, not a tough man sport. In MMA, I was just trying to land a shot, you know, fighting off emotions. He says, in boxing, it's stepping around, countering, and the biggest adjustment is trying to understand that it's still trying to understand that. He said he's basically still trying to understand that. So He's still learning, man. He's learning on the job right now.
And Dre, to your point of the footwork and what Timmy then adds of stepping around, countering, giving angles. And I think a lot of times when you watch MMA guys are so squared up. Nobody's really cut in half.
Right, it's a different discipline because at any point in time a knee or a kick can come, so you got to be in a different position with your feet to get that kind of shot off with your lower extremities. That's not the case, obviously, in boxing. But to your point, Tim, Donte's showing some good hands. You know, his feet are kind of in quick.
In his boxing career, trains in Costa Mesa, California at the Self-Made Gym. Go up to LA and get in sparring at Wild Card. Jones is from Detroit. And his grandfather was David Machine Gun Braxton, was known in the ring, who fought Mike McCallum for the super welterweight title back in '85.
See that jab right there of Jones? That's the reason why Stubbs is having a problem getting in the inside. He's using the jab well. He just stepped right back. He stepped back right there, got caught with a nice shot from Stubbs, but for the most part, he's controlling the range with the jab.
Jones picked up the jab this round. We heard his corner calling for it during the rest period, but he's not consistent. I think this is Isiah Jones's fight to lose because he's the guy with the amateur pedigree. He didn't win a gold medal, but he's got amateur fights. That's not the case for Donte Stubbs. Isiah Jones just fought a couple weeks ago. He needs redemption. Tonight is his night if he's going to get it done.
You know, one thing that Stubbs can do is he can start throwing shots to the chest and to the body. You know, when you have a tall man like that in Jones and he's pulling his head back, you know, you just hit him in the body's going to stay right there.
He's standing right there forward. You just sharp on two right down the pipe. Did you get there?
Nice right hand right there to the body from Stubbs. That's what he needs to continue to do. Beat the body of the taller man.
Clean that up with that right hand, Isiah.
And that's going to set up something over the top.
Got caught by a left hook as he fell all the way in with that wide swinging miss of a right hand.
Touch him again with it. Don't let him close the distance.
Tess, if he would have straightened that shot up, it probably would have been on the money.
And you drop the two right down the pipe. It don't got to be hard, just nice and sharp. Good.
Nice hooks right there from Stubbs.
Hands up. Hands up. Come back.
You waiting too long to stick first.
Good jab.
Once in a while. Give me good feint. Give me good feint. Now you drop it on me.
One of the things that I was taught coming up was when you have a guy that's moving his head a lot, you know, dropping down in front of you, you want to throw your hooks, you throw them at his shoulder level.
Now, number 4 scheduled for 6.
If I'm in the corner of Isiah Jones, I'm telling Jones, move your legs. Make Stubbs move his legs. We know that he can't move like you. Run him into shots all night long. Move along the ropes. Get him to come to you. Step to the side. Get off. Move again. Step to the side. Get off. Because right now, Jones is standing right in front of Stubbs, and he's not making him use those bad feet. And Stubbs is comfortable in that place, and he's getting off some big shots that he's just missing.
Let him go. Let him go.
Right hand free. Body it. Body it.
Good jab, baby. Right away. Let's go. Start measuring. Let's go. Double that jab up. There it is. Put your head off to the side when you do it.
You see right there, you see Stubbs. He lands 2 clean jabs and nothing followed behind it. When you land your jab, you need to go ahead and send a power shot down the middle.
There you go. Keep that stick in his face. Yeah, good thing. Keep that stick in his face. Good. Back with the stick, Isiah.
Hear the running commentary from Anthony Anderson, the trainer of Isiah Jones, who's been prompting him to utilize that jab, that stick.
Back to it. Don't reach. Don't reach. Just relax.
Anderson is telling Jones right, Joe.
Let the check up. Let the check up. Let the check up.
Stubbs is never going to land that big overhand right that he's throwing. He's not coming behind the jab. And also, Jones is getting out before he throws it. He's seeing that punch come. He's loading up for it, Stubbs is. He's never going to land it.
Balance, get that weight down.
So if your back is to the ropes right there and you're Isiah Jones, you don't fight with your back to the rope. Put your guard up, spin out, get back to the center of the ring where they are right now. Never fight with your back against the ropes. Especially with a guy with bad feet like Stubbs, he needs you in place to be able to get his big shots off.
Break!
Breaking.
There's another looping shot right there. And guess what, Jones? He saw it, and he got underneath it.
Alex Saucedo. For now, round 5 between Jones and the 6-0 Donte Stubbs. Tim, you seem to like that right hand that Jones was able to land in the last round.
Yeah, Stubbs standing mid-range. One of the most dangerous ranges right there in boxing, and eats a straight right hand down the pipe. You know, you got to get your head off the line. You got to be in a position, a defensive position, if you're at mid-range and you don't shoot and you don't throw any punches. Stop! Stubbs right there got caught sleeping.
Joe, I agree with you. I like when Fredrickson told us that in the fighter meeting. He acknowledged it openly that this is a make-or-break fight, not only for me, but also for Saucedo. And to your point, most guys don't acknowledge that because that adds more pressure.
Exactly.
Both fighters are embracing that pressure tonight.
But I think there's a truthfulness to it that allows you to lock in, Dre, don't you? When you sit there, you understand the circumstances, you see the landscape clearly, and you can be hyper-focused and locked in at the task at hand.
Another one.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what being honest with yourself is supposed to do, but everybody's psyche is different. Some guys are too fragile to acknowledge what's right in front of them.
All right, another one. Another one. Another one, son. Another one.
Let your shots go, man. Come on.
Jones is boxing very smart tonight. Using his jab, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do against Stubbs. Said he was going to box him all night long, and that's what he's doing. Using a nice stick from the outside, nice little check hook right there from him. Beautiful work by Jones.
Then returns fire.
That's what I was calling for earlier is right now.
Touch him one. Go there.
Yeah, he made him miss, but he's walking Stubbs around the ring. He's making him use his feet. Then he gets him in a position, then he jabs, or he'll spin out and get off a combination. And right now, Stubbs doesn't know what to do.
We call that setting traps. That's what he's doing.
Good jab.
It's a totally different fight ever since Jones made Stubbs move his feet. That's one adjustment that's called Jones to pull ahead a little bit.
Good. Get that chin down. Drop that 2 over the top when you stab.
Well, we mentioned we saw him 2 weeks ago. That was somewhat lackluster. He said is more jabs, punches and bunches, more jabs, stepping around, more jabs. He's thrown 109 jabs tonight to Stubbs 61, and he's in pretty good shape here as we start the 6th round. There are the CompuBox numbers.
I always say, Tess, that the jab starts everything. It's the best punch in boxing, but we all know that truly the best punch in boxing is the one that was never thrown, obviously, but the jab is the most important punch to start your offense. Sets the table and everything else is to clean up.
Hands up. Keep that momentum. Good, there it is.
Shooting the jab out at distance is one thing, but shooting the jab at mid-range, that's dangerous. Stubbs doesn't have a whole lot of experience. He needs to see that. Sometimes, occasionally, Jones will throw a jab from a little bit too close. That's the opportunity to land a right hand or a left hook over the top.
Another one.
Nice shot.
Stop.
There we go. Handspring. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Come on.
Isiah, stay in it. Stay in it. Stay focused. Stay locked in.
And I'll tell you what I miss, fellas. I miss the sound that I hear right now from Anthony Anderson talking to his fighter, encouraging his fighter, coaching his fighter. Like, I miss that, man. I miss being in a fight, being in a sparring session, and hearing my godfather, Virgil Hunter, just talk to me and lead me in the right direction. Man. Having a flashback, Joe.
Uh-oh. I think Canelo looking for an opponent.
Stay focused, Timmy. Stay focused.
Tighten up that jab.
There's that wide sweeping right hand again. Overhand right has been looking for it all night long.
Yeah, but you got to set it up, Tess. You got to set it up. If he's showing it all too often, of course the opponent's gonna see it coming. You know, start bringing that down to the body. Start bringing those hands down. Get them comfortable. Make them uncomfortable. Get down to the body, and then set it up over the top.
Stop. Hey, once you're ready, drop
10
down.
seconds.
Once you're right there.
Better boxing from Jones this fight than his fight 2 weeks ago, and got to give credit to Stubbs. He never stopped trying.
Much better show.